Good evening, y'all. Welcome to our episode 10, which is our outside the box spring game special. As most of y'all know by now, I'm Freddie Huth, and you got Sam Clemens. Both of us write for ClemsonJunkies.com. Tonight we've got Jason Priester back with us from AllClemson.com to visit with us for this spring game special. Let me ask y'all, how y'all doing tonight? Sam, how about you? How are you doing tonight?
I'm all right, man. Can't have no complaints. Just looking forward to tomorrow's game. See what we see.
I hear that. How about you, Jason? You doing okay tonight?
Yeah, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah, I bet you are.
I'm doing just fine.
You're still up there, aren't you?
I've been up here since
Well,
Friday.
let's jump right into it, y'all. Yeah,
I'm ready.
look here. As much as I love that place, I'm sure that it weighs on you the longer you're up there. I can promise you. Let's jump into tonight's show, y'all. Jason, let me ask you first. What are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow? What are you hoping to see in tomorrow's game?
Well, I'm of the opinion there's not a whole lot to be gleaned from spring games. No, but if there's one thing that I'm looking for, I'm gonna be looking at the quarterback play. The passing game struggled last year. I think DJ needs a positive performance tomorrow. I think the last thing he needs is to go into, the summer and then enter fall camp coming off another, poor outing in the spring game. So, and playing behind a makeshift offensive line to split in two, depleted wide receivers, split in half, across two different teams. I'm not going to be looking at, numbers per se. I'm going to be looking at things like footwork, reading the field, pocket presence, those kind of things, accuracy, throwing motion, seeing how much he's actually improved since the end of last year.
Okay. Well, how about you, Sam? What are you hoping to see tomorrow?
Well, I guess I was caught by one thing when I heard Dabo. I listened to his art interview the other day after the final practice, and when asked, he said, "My only question going into the spring game is who the heck is going to be the punter." Okay, Dabo, if that's all you got to worry about, we're in pretty good shape. But anyway, my concern or what I'm going to be watching for, Jason kind of hit on it, is I'm going to watch two things. I'm going to watch the offensive line, but again, I don't think you can garner too much from that because there's so many, like you said, split group, and they were already short anyway, and we're still questionable at center. There can only be one. If there's only one center, somebody on the other side is going to have to play a position that they probably aren't used to playing, I guess, unless there's Ryan Lincecum and those folks are ready to come in and at least play a little bit. The other area I'm looking at are the corners. I'm hoping that they will be able to. I know they're a little short because of injury. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do against offense. I mean, if DJ and Kate are both hitting on all cylinders, which I doubt, because of just being the first game, I think it's just a matter of whether the cornerback can do the job. They're kind of down. They're not depleted, but they're down with injuries going into fall camp. So hopefully they'll be able to do well. But that's going to be yet to be determined as to whether they're going to be able to kind of rally, I guess, for the fall if they don't get some of these folks back from injury. Jason, do you anticipate most of these folks from the corners getting back?
I anticipate everybody being back.
Oh, good. I did.
Maybe except Adam Randall. He's got a torn ACL. I don't know when he'll be back. Let's say he's healed in 6 months, kind of like Amari Rodgers was. He's not an upperclassman the way Amari Rodgers was. Amari Rodgers was able to just come plug right back in. I don't know how far Randall's progressed in learning the playbook and all that stuff. He's probably still got some more learning to do, which he can do a lot of that while he's rehabbing. I just don't think that's as easy to answer as it would be with a junior or senior player.
Yeah.
Outside of him, though, I expect everybody back.
What about
for
you?
Me? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing what kind of like Jason was saying a minute ago, how DJ does. After a year like last year, you don't want to go into the summer camp, being outshined in your spring game when you're an upperclassman. anytime, much less after last year. So that's going to be, you don't want to, you want to kind of, you want to hold your own as an upperclassman quarterback. And, especially like I said, I'm hoping to see what he brings to the table tomorrow. Um, you know, I'm kind of like Jason also, where spring games have never really done much to, because for me, as far as stuff like that goes, because there's a lot that's going to happen between now and the fall anyway. So,
Well, can
all
I
right,
add?
next, y'all?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to add something talking about
Go
DJ.
ahead.
Just one thing. Out of all the players on the team, the one that was the most maligned last year, myself, say I engaged in some of it, was DJ Ulianglele. But what the bottom line is this young man has the world on his shoulders. And I hope what I'm seeing tomorrow is I don't care if he looks awkward at first, but I expect and hope that he'll be executing things well. His footwork, that kind of stuff will be much improved. With this weight loss, I'm hoping that he'll be able to kind of show us something that he wasn't able to show. Like if I remember correct, because I watched it, he wasn't that spectacular last year in the spring game. I think Tyson Pumajon came in and did his thing, but who knows? Anyway, that was all I was going to ask. Hopefully, DJ will be able to right the ship. We need him to do that. So.
I just want to see him smiling, having fun.
Exactly.
Exactly right.
I don't think he had a whole lot of fun last year.
He didn't.
I don't think anybody did. All right, let's jump to another side of it. We started out with offense. How about on defense? What do y'all want to see as far as defense goes? Sam, how about you? I mean, any certain group on defense you want to see?
Well, I just mentioned the cornerbacks. I'd like to see, what I mean, everybody. I mean, I have no visual. I mean, I'm not there at Clemson. I don't get to go behind the scenes and see things. So all of my information comes from people like Jason Priester and other sites that do it for a living and watch it. But from what I gather, a consensus is everybody is not concerned, but everybody's interested to see if the corners can rally. And I'm not saying that we lost those two guys last year that really, I mean, they were pretty good. Andrew Booth, and I can't remember the other one right off the top of my head. Forgive me.
Mario Goodrich.
Yeah, Mario Goodrich. But anyway, the bottom line is I'm looking at that, but I'm also kind of interested, not fully like there's a big question, but I'm looking at the defensive line in general, see if they kind of bring some that intensity that we kind of want to see if they're really there, they're really back, see if they're going to be the Avengers, the second to the Power Rangers. Let's see how that, but that's about it. I mean, I think our defense is pretty stout, and I'd like to see what they're going to do.
How about you, Jason? What do you think?
I'm looking forward to watching it. Jeremiah Trotter play. I mean, I've heard him raved about all spring long. I know Levante Bentley's back. I know McGuire's back, and Dabo, kind of talked McGuire up some the other day. He said he's been a different guy this spring, but I've heard Trotter's football IQ and his just his knowledge of the game, mentioned so many times. I've heard it said by more than one coach, how he was probably playing middle linebacker when he was 2 years old or something like that. But that's the guy I'm looking forward to seeing. I think he's going to be a hard guy to keep off the field at Mike this year. I mean, we know Trenton Simpson's at the wheel. We know Barrett Carter's going to be at the Sam, and I will be surprised if sooner rather than later if it wasn't Jeremiah Trotter at the mic. I mean, don't get me wrong. I expect to see a lot of Bentley and a lot of McGuire too, but I just think Trotter's going to be hard to keep off the field.
That's my take too. Linebacker, I'm looking forward to seeing linebackers, our linebackers as a whole, after what I saw in the bowl game. And I know that was a small taste of it, but I'm hoping that it continues to, I guess, they continue to grow. Like you would want to see, but I'm also interested to see how our safeties do. That's going to be an interesting thing for me, and especially with Xander coming back and stuff like that. I'm hoping that that group's going to be really good. They'll help our cornerbacks out.
Is Xander's even supposed to play tomorrow?
I don't think I'm talking about it as a whole, and I apologize.
I tell you what, I'm not worried about the safeties one bit. With Makuba coming back, Phillips coming back, and I think that Makuba's going. I think you're going to see him line up, at the nickel some. You're going to use him in them dime packages. I think you'll see maybe even see him lined up at corner here and there in some packages. I think Clemson's set at safety, man. That's not even mentioning Landon Zanders or the freshman Sherrod Koval. I think they have got 4 dynamic safeties that's going to make the back end of that defense pretty dang good.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at. I've heard so many great things about them. I just want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited for it, I guess is what I'm getting at. Not as much, anything else.
I kind of thought we saw it last year. I thought the safeties were pretty good. I thought Jalen Phillips didn't get enough publicity last year. I thought he took a major jump in his development. I think that's a big part of why Joseph Charleston left, because he kind of could see the writing on the wall. He'd been passed by, especially after Makuba come in and started game one. I thought the safeties were jam up last year, personally.
Well, one of the things I just jumped in. One of the things that we talk about, don't know where we're going to stand after the game. My question after we see the game and who gets to play and who's healthy, do you foresee anybody, or is there one particular group that might see an exodus through the transfer portal? That was just one of my questions I had written down here to ask you. Do you see anybody maybe bundling up their backpack?
I would be surprised if Clemson had no transfers after the spring. I'm not going into any names. That'll be just pure speculation. But, it would be, it's just that's just the nature of the beast these days. It's the way it works out. It wouldn't surprise me if I'm not even going to mention positions. It don't matter. But I could see a guy or two, maybe 3 leaving, after the spring once, some of the depth charts. Even if there's no official depth chart release, you're going to start getting ideas. Dabo Swinney's already started having his in the spring meetings with guys, so they'll know where they stand. And it's a popular time to enter the portal. And there's a reason. There's a reason why Clemson hasn't, jumped in the portal and taken offensive linemen yet, because they know there's going to be more entering after the spring. They're being patient and waiting to see who all, it becomes available after all spring practices in.
That makes sense.
Well, the transfer portal used to be seen as, it still is for me, kind of like a negative drain, pulling all the talent. But I'm less worried about that now. I think we're getting things under control. Well, we don't have to really worry about it as much as I don't have to worry about it as much as I used to. I think it just takes care of itself. That was all I was saying.
With Clemson, it's more so a matter of, just like Jason was just saying, people see that they're not going to get play, and these guys want to play, and when you're buried on the depth chart, you can't really blame them for wanting to go somewhere else that they may get a better shot.
How many starters has Clemson ever lost through the transfer portal?
I think 0. That was where my question. I was looking back and seeing what the history of the transfer portal was.
I think Dabo Swinney referenced that the other day.
Yeah,
talking about how players are going to leave, but he don't think he's ever lost a starter to the portal. I know guys. I know people had Lynn J. Dixon penciled in as starting running back last year, but I think that's part of the reason why he left, because he didn't win that job last season in fall camp.
The only one that comes close, technically, is Kelly Bryant. He was a starter that was removed from the starting position. That was kind of close, but that one.
He left after he lost his starting spot.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right. He wasn't a starter when he left.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation, brothers. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. We could talk all night about that. All right. Next, as far as the new coaches go, we all heard about how we've got new coaches, here and there and here and there. All right. Anything that y'all are going to be looking at or looking for from the new coaches for the spring game tomorrow? How about you, Jason? Anything that you're going to be looking for or looking at?
I think there's going to be some new passing concepts in the offense before next season. I'm not sure we see any of it tomorrow. spring games are usually typically pretty bland. Coaches don't want to show their hands, especially when they're putting something new in. But if you ask me what I'm looking for towards next season, that would be the thing. I don't, as far as new coaches tomorrow specifically, not really. I don't know what there would be to see. I'm kind of curious to see how Kyle Richardson, handles the tight ends, but I don't know if we'll be able to tell a whole lot about that by tomorrow. And again, his imprint on the passing game, coming from that air raid background, he ran some high-powered offenses while he was head coach at Northwestern, I think it was, up in Rock Hill. Northwestern or Northeastern, I get them confused.
Northwestern.
Yeah, he ran some high-powered offenses there. They won multiple state titles, him running those offenses. I'm kind of interested to see his fingerprints on the offense, but I don't know that we see a whole lot tomorrow. Main thing I'm looking for, I'm kind of curious to see how much tempo is emphasized tomorrow.
Well, all right, how about you, Sam? What do you think? Anything you'll be looking at or looking for?
Jason's reading my mind, because the one thing that I really wanted to see, the one person that I think, in my opinion, and again, I'm on the outside looking in, the one coach that I thought, or position change that I thought was they're all wonderful, but one I really liked was Kyle Richardson. I mean, really, really, really. I mean, I remember his teams at Northwestern. My sister lived in Rock Hill at the time, and she lived literally right across the street from the stadium. And I went over there one Friday night, and man, they were prolific as heck. They were great. And I kind of get excited thinking I think he's the passing game coordinator. Is that correct, Jason?
Yeah.
I look for there to be some changes, not changes, but like you say, some nuances, some different schemes, or looking for that. I really am. But the other thing I'm looking for, as far as staff goes, is I want to see if Nick Easons has continued his vegan lifestyle since he said he had to lose some weight. I'm just teasing. I can't harp on that. But the bottom line is I think we got some really good people in place. I just look forward to seeing their energy on the sidelines tomorrow.
Well, that's me. I'm looking forward to seeing. It could be a big difference in not seeing Brent Venables on that sideline. And I know we've talked before about how our new defensive coordinator is a little bit more laid back on the sidelines and stuff. It's gonna be interesting to see how that translates onto the field for me. And I know the spring game isn't going to show us much, but still, I am looking forward to seeing that part of it. Hey, could be interesting, to say the least.
I want to say one other thing, if I can, about the coaches. The word frenetic to me, just crazy madness, fit Chad Morris's offense. I mean, that was Portage Boyd ran around the backfield. I mean, he was just like frenetic, crazy. I called it chicken with the head. Not that he wasn't great. It was just that was the way the style of the offense. Brent Venables' style of defense is that over the top, get back coach. We're centering in the signals at the last second. I think Wes Bentley, again, looking on the outside, looking in, I think Wes Bentley, from what I've read and what I've seen in interviews, he's a lower key kind of guy. I don't think we'll have to have some sort of not that it was bad having a backup coach. It was pretty fun at the time, but I just look for him to be low key and getting the same job done. And maybe not right now, but in a couple of years, he'll be Brent Venables' equal, I think. In my opinion, that's just my thought.
Well, I'm interested to see how that translates. You can be confident and not have to be jumping up and down. I understand that. It's just I am going to miss that to an extent.
Yeah.
So, last but not least, we're going to a little joking side of it, I guess you'd say. We've all heard about the Bryant versus Wilkins thing from going into tomorrow. All right, I'm gonna take predictions. Which one gets this win? Does Austin get it or does Christian get it? How about you, Sam? What you think?
Winning is very subjective in the game. If there's really one winner or one loser. But I'm gonna tell you something right now. I've never in my lifetime, other than maybe Ben Boulware, came with more gumption and more over-the-top behavior and just lovable kind of guy, Christian Wilkins. I would never bet against Christian Wilkins. So my money's on Christian. Can't remember which side he gets I think it's I don't know. I have no idea. But whichever one, my money's on Christian Wilkins.
How about you, Jason?
Yeah, I got no idea. I can't even remember which sides which each
Yeah, I
is
don't either.
on. So,
Well, I'm gonna go with the way it was put the other day that Christian needs this one. So I'm gonna go with Christian on this one, just to be fun in it.
I think I did see that. I think I did see that if he loses, he would have lost more spring games than he did in his entire career. Regular, real
That
games.
is correct. Yep.
Well,
he had never won a spring game with any of the teams he played on at Clemson, is what I understood. All right.
If I'm not mistaken, the losing team has to have some sort of, they have to. The coaching staff has to do late night duties during fall camp, making sure curfew calls. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I don't know what the winning team gets. I have no idea, but hopefully after tomorrow they'll all be winners. We'll get a good idea of what they're going to be next year. So.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's been good. We've come to the end of our spring game special. We want to ask y'all again, if you like what you're seeing, go to our YouTube page and subscribe and like it. Let us know what you think. We want to thank Jason Priester of allclemson.com for being with us again tonight. And until the next time, guys, we look forward to it. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.